How's it going, Helldivers? And today I wanted to talk about one of the questions during the part two Democracy Talks interview that we had with Mikael on from Arrowhead. And it was really, honestly, I just wanted to say about the interview, the part two one was a vast improvement over the first one. I think the second one didn't really, while I may not have agreed with every answer that was given, it was honestly a very we talked about shit that actually happens in the game. We weren't talking about developer workout schedules. We weren't talking about some nebulous things that right now isn't a pressing issue. We were talking about stuff that's affecting players, like the crashes. We're talking about roadmaps. We're talking about many things that, in my mind, is something that is constantly talked about and argued over in this community. So I will give flowers where flowers are due. This was a very good interview. My only things is that, like I said, I didn't agree with every question or every answer, and I want to say that hopefully this is something that we do on either on a bi-weekly or monthly level. This is like a really good way of having a open communication, because I felt like we got a lot of open answers, and while I know some answers weren't as open, you have to realize that for legal reasons, they probably can't admit to certain things that we would probably want them to admit to. So besides that and everything, I wanted to talk about the one part of the whole interview that was really, that actually got me to pause the video on stream and start basically not ranting and raving, but get a little passionate about something that I kind of disagree with, and that is the roadmaps. I said in my last video that you can easily have roadmaps in the game that don't spoil the future events that happen. You can have things that say, hey, in a later future, down a few months from now, there's going to be a big content update that adds new biomes, new weapons, and maybe new mechanics, and that's it. That's all you got to add. And I feel that would satiate a lot of people knowing when to expect certain things to happen, as well as they're so focused on talking about what the other faction is doing and as if we need exact details. And there probably is a bunch of people saying that I want to know the exact details, and I understand where they're coming from. They don't want to spoil that. However, there's nothing saying you can't say, hey, in February we're starting the automaton arc for the story. The major war will be more focused on the Western Front now after we've done with the Terminids and Squids. Or, there's going to be a new set of major order chains that connect to the Squids and them reconnecting with their previous culture and Fallen Empire. That doesn't really spoil anything. That just tells me that during this time, I can expect to see a bunch of Squid major orders, Bot major orders, and maybe or maybe Terminid major orders, depending on what is said and who said when. All right, I don't think that spoils much. However, fine. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. I understand it, but I feel like this whole realistic, you're part of the Super Earth faction, so you can't know what the automatons are doing, the bugs are doing, or the squids are doing. You can only know what your faction is doing. Surprise, surprise. I actually, you know what? I fuck with it. Let's stick with it. But my problem, Arrowhead, is we're going half-ass. And you even admit to it somehow a little bit that you're going half-ass with it. Where I'm part of the Super Earth faction, and I'm a spoiler. It was leaked almost week 2 of the game because a bunch of players got to play with it for some reason because of hackers. But there's an APC in the game. Where's the APC? Why as a Super Earth Helldiver, part of the faction, diving every day? It doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter how long you play the game. You should have access to the information no matter what. But why don't we know about this shit? Why don't I know when a vehicle's getting made? Why don't I know when a war bond's come in? That should be given to us. And you admitted to that, and so there's really no point in dwelling on it. This is the part that I'm dwelling on. You can still have access to, let's say, automatons, because it's kind of easy to do with them than it is really the bugs or the squids. I have better examples for the bots. So we're going to focus on the bots for this one. You can show me what the bots are doing in the future by making a minor order to do counterintelligence. I understand where they're coming from. They want the war to feel like a war and have not that immersion breaking scenario where out of nowhere you know in the future that the bots are going to be cooking up something on February or whatever. I understand that. I understand where you're coming from. But people still want to know when stuff is happening, what the future looks like for the game, and what possibly might be happening. So how do you do that? Well, just like in real war, since you want to make this feel like a realistic scenario, armies do counterintelligence, all right? Counterintelligence to get ahead and see what might be happening in the future to better prepare defenses or do a early counterattack. Why can't you do that? Why can't we have a minor order? Let's say there was a major order that's like, contain the gloom, liberate X amount of planets. And then on a minor order, you have, well, there's this side objective that you guys can go do, or you can have this as part of one of those, quote, filler MOs, where the major order doesn't really have that much to do with anything, really. It's just a major order to complete and be awesome if we complete it or not. Have it be in place of one of these for a major order that says, hey, if you guys, we've been seeing lots of automaton movement, our deep satellites in the automaton sector that are spying on them have noticed that on Ares Pass, there is a huge factory hub and manufacturing point of, there's a huge manufacturing hub that is creating something. We don't know what, but whatever they're creating, it's not going to be good for the future of Helldivers and the positive outlook for us on the Automaton Western Front. So we will be deploying, we are ordering Helldivers to liberate Ares Pass to secure vital intelligence on what the automatons are cooking up when it comes to whatever they're cooking up at their manufacturing hub on Ares Pass. Then, if Helldivers succeed in doing it, what you can do is you can put like a very, you know, don't fucking make an AI generated image, all right? Like actually draw it out. But it'd be cool if like when you go into like Discord, because I assume Discord is going to be their major hub of information where I just focus it. Please do not put this in some random Reddit thread or tweet off some random developer's post, all right? Focus. I need you guys to still focus your lines of communication. So since most of your communication now seems to be going through Discord, you post it in the Helldivers 2 announcements, and there's like a bunch of pictures of documents from the that the Helldivers and Seif have secured from like the manufacturing hub or some random base, whatever the fuck, you know, fluff it up a little bit, make it sound cool. But there's documents we've secured, and Helldivers can go through the documents and see that, well, the automatons look to be building giant manufacturing, giant structural integrity beams here. And that could be, and our scientists seem to believe that it could be a possibility of either super mega bases, a new super weapon that is going to be built in the future, or you can have it to where there's blueprints for a new chassis that common chaff units will be equipped to bring. So like now this is like introducing, look, when we went there, we found schematics for sniper rifles and lighter frames that automaton troopers can now, it seems, build sniper rifles, and it seems that they're switching their doctrine from just mass assault hunker down to now having lighter framed units that will snipe us at a distance. That's a way to introduce more of the enemies that you might want to add. So let's say if you have an automaton update that's going to add sniper chaff units to the automaton faction, and you're going to add a super weapon for a story arc. Well, because Helldivers did a counterintelligence op and it went successful, we were able to secure part of that roadmap, which then plays into the whole idea that that Arrowhead seems to be going with when it comes to their roadmaps, that they want the roadmaps to not feel like they're breaking the fourth wall. They want that fourth wall to remain integral. It doesn't feel like it's cheating. It's not like out of game or meta information. And while I personally don't mind meta information because I played D&D, you're always going to have some kind of meta information that you have. You just have to pretend it's not there sometimes. I understand where they're coming from, but it's just that we go half-ass at it. And that's my thing. You can do roadmaps for your enemies, but just make it to where the Helldivers have to work for it. They just have to work for it. Hey, instead of, you know, doing some random bumfuck, hey, secure more planets than you've lost MO that no one likes and everyone always complains is filler, Why don't you have an MO that's related to the roadmap that Helldivers can piece together, and it's kind of like a pseudo ARG kind of thing, and it feels a little bit more impactful. It feels like players, when they win a major order, they're not just getting a bunch of medals that a lot of us don't really need anymore, but they're getting vital information for the future of the war that we're all trying to win. I think that'd be much more impactful and fun and meaningful to the community than what we have now. If you're gonna do this, do it all the way. Don't go half-assed. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm sorry if this video came off a little rambly. I'm gonna be honest with you, there was literally no script for it. And when I recorded it the first time, apparently OBS wasn't picking up my mic, so I rambled for like 5 to 10 minutes for no reason. So I hope it worked this time. It looks like it worked. But what do you guys think down below? Do you think my ideas are just retarded? Do you wish that they did something even more in-depth or, quote, realistic to the war with Helldivers and all the factions? Or do you want them to just do a normal roadmap, or do you just not care? I have no idea. There's multiple things that you can be. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please be safe and don't drown.